Let's finish this segment on a happier note, though. Here's Antonio Pierce, whose team went, as we said at the top of the show, from scoring 0 points on Sunday to setting a franchise record with 63 on Thursday night. Here's Pierce reacting to that turnaround.
Well, we knew it at halftime what the record was. I was made aware of it, and we were going to be aggressive regardless what the score was. If we only had 21 or 10, we were going to be aggressive. That was our mindset. I talked to our team about it last week, playing better in the second half. I thought we did. This one was playing, full second half and not letting off on the gas pedal, and hats off to them because that was their mindset. Hats off to our players because that's what leaders and real men do. They bring others along with them, and they brought me along, and hell, we kicked some ass today.
Antonio Pierce has exactly the intensity that Brandon Staley doesn't. At the end of the third quarter of Sunday's game against the Vikings, Pierce gathered the players around him like he was still the linebacker firing up the defense. And he was passionate. It didn't work, but he's still got that passion, and he's got that desire. And I don't know what Mark Davis is going to do, but, this is kind of the Jeff Saturday experiment from last year, but it's going better than the Jeff Saturday experiment went.
Well, the difference, though, is at least Antonio Pierce had some coaching experience, both in college and pro football. That's the big difference, and that's why I don't think anyone begrudges Antonio Pierce this opportunity. And the reason why they did it this way, I think the logic is solid, because think about it. Patrick Graham is running the defense. So if you take Patrick Graham and make the defensive coordinator and make him the head coach, now you have to say, okay, how are we going to operate this defense? So instead of, and I'm sure, I would bet Patrick Graham wanted the interim coaching job because he knows that the owner of this team is totally malleable. And if they get hot down the stretch, he could end up being a head coach in the NFL. But I honestly think, although Mark Davis, I think is not a good owner because he's very flighty going from one coach to another. I mean, he's almost the David Tepper of the AFC. Almost, not quite. Nobody's like David Tepper. But I think that what the Raiders did was smart because they took someone who has the ability to connect with players, who understands how players think, because he was a player not long ago, and he was a player who had a little bit of stuff to him, Mike, who a lot of players on the other team didn't like. And that's fine. What more Raider guy could there be? I think the only thing that the Raiders have to be cognizant of as they go through this process, just remember, when Rich Bisaccia was the interim coach, Rich Bisaccia was so good that he led them to the playoffs. And they came within 2 minutes of upsetting the Bengals and Joe Burrow in Cincinnati. And so I think the one thing you have to be careful of is, in that particular case, as it turns out now, I bet Mark Davis wishes that he hired Rich Bisaccia. Okay? So now you have to think of the next 3, 4, 5 years. And can Antonio Pierce grow into this job and do a good job? Would he work well with either Champ Kelly or whoever is designated the new general manager? Those are the questions you have to ask. Don't hire somebody off a sugar high of scoring 63 points in a game. I mean, don't make a knee-jerk decision. I mean, this is something that I think Mark Davis, it's going to be hard for him. And look, the one thing I do appreciate about Mark Davis is that he fully admits he's not his dad. And that in many ways, if you read between his lines, he's growing on this job. Even though he's had it for, 11 years now? He's still growing into this job. And in my opinion, this is a vital decision that he has to make. And to me, I don't know exactly how he's going to do it, but he needs to take his time, be thoughtful. Don't go running off after this beautiful new shiny object. I think he needs to take his time and be smart and interview all comers for this job.
But the other side of it, too, is he clearly made a mistake in not sticking with Rich Bisaccia and Mike Mayock and giving them a chance, give them a full year. You know, we make that argument for quarterbacks. Give the quarterback a full year, and then let's see where we are. Maybe there's a way he could negotiate the contracts with Kelly and Pierce, that he's got a trial period of a year or two, that the buyout wouldn't be prohibitive if he decides halfway through 2025, okay, we gave it a try, it didn't work. But the only way you're going to know whether or not Pierce can get toward that ceiling of being a great coach is to let him work in that direction. And I think letting Bisaccia go and making the big swing for Josh McDaniels is exactly the kind of background and mindset that could get Mark Davis to say, I really don't want to do this twice. I really don't want to let a guy go who I should have hired and at least given a short-term chance twice. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.